It is the 14th of October and I've got to get my Christmas cake in the oven today. I mentioned the other day and showed you me soaking the fruit for the cakes, so today I need to get the actual cakes in the oven. So I'll do a quick talk through the process of what I'm doing and show you the recipe briefly again in case you haven't seen the first video, but it'll be called, I think it's called Real Appeal, I think I called that one. Anyway, so in that I'll show you how I put my fruit to soak. I'm going to get the second half done now and get the cakes in the oven. Okay, so here's the recipe if you didn't catch it the other day. Just briefly, that's how I made my Christmas cake. And if you can hear lots of noises, my husband's working in the other room again, but that doesn't matter. We'll carry on. Okay, so I've been gathering my ingredients together. Obviously I've got my recipe. We've got flour and sugar, baking powder, because I don't use self-raising flour in this, it is plain flour and baking powder. We've got butter, pecans which I need to chop, mixed spice. I can highly recommend this particular mix of mixed spice. I got this in my local hardware shop, but you can get this particular brand in health food shops, sometimes in supermarkets. I mean, you can get regular mixed spice, it's just the one that I like. Sometimes mixed spice from the supermarket can have a little bit too much coriander in it for my liking, which is okay if you want to make a curry, but this one's really nice for cake. I've just got to crack some eggs. I already have my fruit that I put to soak the other day, and I think that's everything. So we'll just crack on with it then. Oh, one more thing. Got my baking tins and I will need to line them, so I will also show you how I line those too. Okay, I mentioned about showing how I line my tins. On the recipe it says to put in a greased tin, but I don't do that. So I use 2 tins, one for each cake. I have a supposedly stainless steel one that obviously isn't stainless. And, sorry for that, putting that down loudly. And I have this really old one I've had. Actually, this was John's before we even moved in together, so it's quite old, this one. I used to cut out a circle of baking paper for the base and then cut out the paper for the sides. So now I use these for regular round cakes, which I don't actually bake round cakes very often. I usually bake loaf cakes, and I use one of these for the bottom, and I don't bother double lining it, and I use baking paper just for the sides, and I cut strips and double fold them, and I'll show you how I do that and how I tuck them all in together and what have you. And then this cake mix can go in this tin and go in the oven. This tin is slightly wider than this one, so this one won't take as long to cook. So in which case I might put the cake in this tin first, and I'll put that in the oven, and I'll put it on the bottom, or the middle shelf rather, because that's going to cook a fraction longer. So that one can go in straight away whilst I'm mixing the second batch of cake mix up to go in this tin. I've spread out the paper case in the bottom, which you can see a bit better in this larger tin. So I've stretched out the sides to make it fit. And what I meant earlier on when I said that the smaller tin will cook longer is because the mixture will end up being thicker, so therefore it will cook longer, whereas it'll be more spread out in the larger tin. So the sides, what I've done is I've folded over 2 strips of baking paper and tucked the end in one end and tucked the opposite end in here, so they'll stand up themselves, and just pushed out the paper to the sides. So now I'm just going to put this mixture into here, and that's it, ready to go in the oven. Another tip for when you've filled your cake tin and levelled it is don't level it. Make it ever so slightly dipped in the middle, so that when the cake starts to rise in the middle, it won't rise too much and you end up with a bulgy cake. It will make more of a level cake, and it will make it easier for decorating. Okay, so Christmas cake's cooking away, and now on to the next task. I bought this fabric and it came in the post the other day, and the colour's not going to come up very well. It's a bit brighter than what it's showing up on the screen. Let's see if I can get the colour right. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Kind of a golden mustard. Yeah, that's pretty close. And it's really pretty. It's not exactly what I thought. It's supposed to be a brushed cotton, and technically it is, but I was thinking it was going to be thicker than this. This is kind of like a, I don't know, like a poplin maybe. I planned on making quite an autumnal winter kind of a warm dress. I wasn't expecting the fabric to be this thin, so I'm still going to make a dress, but my plans have had to change. If you can hear a funny noise, I've got the dishwasher on in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this Colette pattern, which is the penny dress, and I'm not making this version of it though. It's a shirt dress, and if I take the booklet out here and show you the alternative version of this, it's kind of like that, which is more of an A-line skirt. I don't think it's a half circle skirt, I'm pretty sure it's just A-line. Same bodice from what I can tell. I haven't decided yet on sleeves. It depends on how far this fabric goes. I only bought 2 meters of this fabric. I was planning on using a dress that I already own as a template, but I've since, which was just a V-neck dress, but this is going to be like I said, shirt style at the top, and I don't yet know about this waistband. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another fabric. I'm going to cut out my pattern pieces, and I'm going to get another fabric to make up a muslin. And the fabric I'm going to use, I haven't brought it through with me, but it's I often use old sheets or old duvet covers as to make muslins with. So the one I'm going to use is a brushed cotton, or rather it's a flannel rather than a brushed cotton, which is what I just had it in my head that this was going to be more like a flannel, and it's not. So it is a flannel, and I'll make a muslin with it. And because this dress, you usually sew a lining for it, I believe, I may use the brushed cotton, or flannel rather, muslin, and turn that into the lining for this dress when I come to make this dress. So it'll still be a nice warm cozy dress. The colour shows better when I put that booklet there. That is what the colour looks like. This is gold and mustard, and it's got all these pretty flowers on it and little bumbly bees. I think they're bees. They look like bees. I'm pretty certain they're not wasps. So challenge, because obviously this pattern only runs one way, I think. Yeah, and I only have 2 meters of it, so hopefully I can make it work. Okay, I fetched the other fabric through. It's an old bottom sheet. It's got a big tear in it at one end now, so it's pretty faded, and this pattern's not going to show through this fabric. At least I don't think so. I'm going to test that first, haven't I? No, the fabric is thick enough for this not to show through, and besides, it will be on the this is actually on the printed side, so it'd be even paler on the reverse side. So that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to cut out my pattern pieces first, and then cut out these from this fabric. Okay, straight away I figured out there isn't enough fabric using the pattern the way that they say to. But I've just been looking at the pattern measurements, and the skirt is huge. I mean, it's a lot longer than I would normally like a skirt. So good job you can't see the other side of this camera, because I've just took off the dress I was wearing. So I'm now in my leggings, but I am going to, and my long sleeve top. I'm not naked, honestly. So I'm going to measure the length of this dress, which is the length that I like to wear, and I'm going to measure the bodice length, seam is there, and the skirt length, and I'm going to shorten the skirt to fit that accordingly. And what I will do is, with the fabric I'm using as a muslin, I will cut it to what this length is now, knowing that it'll have to be turned up with a hem, so that it will be shorter when it's done and underneath the dress than the actual finished dress in the fabric. So we'll see how that works out, and if I'll have enough fabric, and then I can start cutting these pattern pieces. Okay, so I have cut out the muslin pieces here. Managed to get enough pieces out of the sheet, which is excellent. And all I've had to do is I've shortened the skirt to match up with the length of the dress that I'm wearing again now, and I should just be able to squeeze out enough fabric of my actual dress fabric, with having shortened it and what have you. There'll be a bit of jiggling around to get it to do it, but I should have just enough. But I'll pretty much be using up every scrap of fabric for things like the collar, but never mind, I probably won't get sleeves out of it, but that's okay, as long as I can get a dress, that's the main thing. So we shall move on to the next bit tomorrow. It's tea time getting on for now, so I haven't got enough time today, but the boring-y bit's done now.